right, y'all. We back on the scene to pull the lesson out. This is Gaming Looks Good, episode number 9, and we're talking about Box Boy. Now, this is the show where we look at one game from the lens of diversity. I'm Shareef Jackson, chilling in Milwaukee, and this week's t-shirt is Bricago. And if you don't know where Bricago is, that is a mixture of Brooklyn and Chicago, which is where my mans and them, Khalif Adams and Cicero Holmes, who host the Spawn on Me podcast, of which I am a frequent guest. So check that out. Search for Spawn on Me podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or go to esn.fm /Spawn on Me, and you will get the podcast there as well, or the spawnpointblog.com. So lots of ways to get invited to Bricago. So let's dive right into Box Boy. So Box Boy is a Nintendo 3DS game, about $5. So it's a really small title by HAL Laboratory. And as you can see on the screenshot there, it says collect crowns and earn medals to unlock costumes. How much more awesome can that be, right? It's a collectible game. It's a platformer. You're a box. You're a boy. You're duplicating like yourself to solve puzzles. That easy, right? Now, before I get into the actual game, I want to talk about a couple of articles that I read last week. And most of the articles were actually by Maddie Messer. So she wrote articles about how she looked into some cell phone games and wondered why certain games, charge you money to play as a woman. Most of the time it's a unlockable, or it's a skin that you have to unlock after like playing, or sometimes it's a skin that you have to actually pay for. So she looked at a Temple Run and a bunch of other games, and she wondered why, if the majority of the players are female and they have lots of stats to back that up, why aren't women the default player, or why can't you select a woman as the default without paying or without unlocking after gameplay and that kind of stuff. And actually the creators of like a Temple Run actually responded to her and said, we're going to make some women characters free, which I guess yay, because like Maddie is like very young. I believe she's only 12 years old. And I first heard of this article on the NPR show Planet Money, which is a great podcast as well, which you see here on the screen. And then I saw that she also did an opinion piece in the Washington Post called I'm a 12-year-old girl, why don't the characters in my apps look like me? And one great part of this is right on the bottom here, where she basically says, these biases affect young girls like me. The lack of girl characters implies that girls are not equal to boys and they don't deserve characters that look like them. I'm a girl. I prefer to be a girl in these games. I do not want to pay to be a girl. And Maddie was also interviewed on the Unconsolable podcast, which is another podcast on the ESN.FM network, just like Spawn on Me was. Very, very cool podcast hosted by Jessica Dennis and Anna Tarkov. And they had her on episode 30, We Want to Be a Girl. So they talked more to her and her mother about why she wrote the article, all that. So a lot of great background info there. So the basics are, there should be no reason why you cannot select a female character in this day and age of gaming, right? It shouldn't take much to just add that option in there if you think about it from the beginning and you plan your games for a wide audience. So with that in mind, let's go back to Box Boy and let's see what some of these unlock costumes that you have to collect crowns and earn medals and all that to get are. So your first costume is a woman. So you have to unlock the fact that you're a woman, which is awesome. And you can be a king. You can be some sort of rapper guy. So basically, these other kind of king and shades and like all that are also the equivalent of what they call the ponytail, which basically makes you a female character. Now, you could argue that the game is named Box Boy, so technically it should be about a boy, but honestly, there's no reason why HAL Laboratories couldn't have let you select between a boy or a girl at the start. I mean, especially if I'm gaming with like, with a younger cousin or a daughter or like something like that, why not give her that option right at the beginning, or give a guy that option right at the beginning without having to unlock, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Now let's go to some of the gameplay video and let's check out Box Boy. So it's a pretty cute game. If you stand still, you just start dancing, which is awesome. So that's me on the left. I'm Box Boy. In the middle is, I guess it's a shout out to Pac-Man with the bow, or sorry, to Miss Pac-Man with the bow in her head. So like that's my female friend, and the guy in the back is just some long shape thing. And yeah, this is the game here. So like it's a cute game. Animation is like really dope. This is kind of like the world select screen, and I'm gonna show you what it actually looks like to unlock these characters. Now you can see on the lower right, those are all the medals and the crowns that I had to play, and like I had to play for for like at least an hour to be able to unlock this this much content to be able to actually unlock these costumes per se. So now let's take a look at these costumes in the shop here. So we got the rapper, the hippest costume to hop around in, bust out some rhymes. Okay. Then we got the ponytail, which turns you into the female character. And then you got the superhero, which kind of looks like a bra, which is kind of weird. And we got the knight, right? So you have all these different things, and the costume for the girl again is equivalent to all that. So let's change into the ponytail, which for some reason also gives me eyelashes. So I come out, and I'm a girl character. Everything's the same, right? I can still play the game. I can still do all my cute jumps, and I can I can stand still, and I can dance and like all that stuff. So really there's no reason for them to let you do this at the start. I mean, what if somebody plays and doesn't play through in the hour or like two because they don't feel represented in the game? And yes, it's a game about boxes, but the fact is we still look for these things in the game, in these games. And why take yourself out of the rank for being a representative games where you literally just have to put a ponytail on the head and some eyelashes and the dancing and all that stuff, right? And then like you can get that like accomplishment, as like Maddie said, of like seeing yourself in these games, and getting rid of that bias, right? So I'm gonna go to one of the worlds and one of the puzzles in this game, just to show you a little bit of the gameplay as well, because it's pretty cool to be a girl character and going through these puzzles. So like you can basically create all these boxes. You can kind of connect them to these sticky points and navigate through the level. So it's a cool game, a lot of cool puzzles. Music's a little annoying, but basically, HAL Laboratory, step your game up. You should have allowed this at the beginning. And that's it for this week, y'all. This is a pretty short one. I didn't do any of my as the ladies of Unconsolable call it, my shooty stabby games like Battlefield Hardline and like that kind of stuff. But we will be back next week, and we will be tackling Mortal Kombat X. So until then, y'all, peace out. Peace.